Welcome into the Gridiron Grind, Creta 3, Jimmy G. Another week on the show. And Jimmy, we were hot last week. Boy, I tell you what.
That's right.
Arkansas Razorbacks were hot on the field. We were hot in our picks.
Yeah, dude. Tennessee, welcome to Fayetteville. Later. Losers.
They got to learn why some people call it Vietnam, because you don't walk out alive.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
1914. You know, that killed me on the over, but I split that Arkansas plus 14.
Sure did.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Not even when the quarterback went out, never in doubt.
Nope. Because I said, well, I don't think Tennessee can beat us by 14 and a half or whatever it was. I was like, our defense was playing pretty good. All we got to do is just hang on. They'll want to run the ball and kind of get out of there like he did in Norman. And so I had faith. Winning it after he went out was a little bit different, but after I watched this play, I go, I think we got Tennessee's number.
I mean, y'all put it to them. The offense from Tennessee, very underwhelming. Couldn't do nothing. Arkansas defense put it to them.
To be fair, Tennessee, their three wide receivers are hurt. Brew McCoy.
Yeah,
I kept waiting. I was afraid to hear his name called. And, they kind of injury bug got him. And that's just, kind of luck of the draw for the Razorbacks. So I'll take it. I was excited. And Horns didn't lose the bye week for you.
Horns won the bye week. They're back to being ranked number one. So doesn't hurt there. It was a great Saturday. It was one of those Saturdays you kind of knew it was coming. Not a lot of marquee games, but you had 5 top 11 teams get beat. Of course, Arkansas upset Tennessee. The big one, Vanderbilt upset Alabama. Minnesota upsets USC. Washington upsets Michigan. In Texas A&M, even though they were favored, they were still ranked 25th. Missouri was ranked 9th. And A&M put a whooping on the Missouri Tigers.
Blew Missouri out, man. I'm telling you. We talked about this, Trey.
It was over when it started.
Yeah. Is this a combination of, or we determine it's a combination of, I think A&M's, but Wegman's back.
Yeah.
A&M's defense is good. Missouri's overrated, and I think A&M's better than people think.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where you and I settled. I think the game says exactly that. Like, golly, they might be the worst number 9 ranked team, not anymore, obviously, but Missouri might be the worst top 10 ranked team ever.
Yeah, I mean, they were not.
Since Arkansas was ranked 5 after the Bobby Petrino motorcycle crash incident, and then we lose to Louisiana Monroe, we were probably the second worst top 10 team ever.
Don't forget, Florida State started out number 5 at preseason.
That's true.
And they lost to Georgia Tech, and then I think they only fell to 10th, and then they lost to Boston College.
I don't feel that bad then.
Yeah. Great Saturday. A lot of upsets. This Saturday is big for me personally, but also a couple big-time matchups. You got number 1, Texas playing number 18, Oklahoma, Red River Rivalry. You also got number 2, Ohio State going on the road for the first time this year. At number 3, Oregon. And number 9, Ole Miss. At number 13, LSU. You also got a couple other really good games, even though USC is not ranked anymore, but they host Penn State. Penn State's undefeated. USC already has 2 losses, trying to bounce back. And then the 10-15 Central game, Kansas State at Colorado. Both teams coming off a bye. That one could be that could get interesting. First, let's talk about the Red River Rivalry. This is the first time Texas comes into this game ranked number 1 since 1984. Texas favored by 14.5, and I tell you what, as a Texas fan, that scares the ever-living daylights out of me. Because throw out the stats, throw out the numbers, this game just doesn't matter. I mean, take last year, for instance, Texas was the better team. But Oklahoma won the game. They deserved to win the game. And it just doesn't matter. 14-point spread. You got to be crazy to take Texas minus 14.5, I think.
Yeah, especially Venables, you got to wonder, okay, this Hawkins kid at quarterback seems to be the solution. We know the kid from Guyer just wasn't it. And like you said, this is a rivalry game. The same with like we always talk about, or I always say Arkansas and LSU. There's been years we hadn't even deserved to be on the same field and
Right.
somehow win that game. That's why they say
Likewise.
rivalry games, you throw it all out. But I mean, 14 and a half, that's a wild number
It's a
on the
lot.
outside looking in. But dude, it might be one of those cases where Sark, I think Sark, if he's got the chance to, nobody at Texas is going to be like, man, you should have really pulled off. You shouldn't
No.
you shouldn't have blew him out by 58 there, Sark. You should have ran the ball more. So I could actually see this hitting uh kind of one of those things. Sark just sort of just lays it on because he goes, hey man, things going great right now. We're number one team in the nation. Got my starting quarterback back. Ewers will be back, and I could see it hitting.
I
But
don't
I
know,
think
man.
it's
There's so
easy to
many
take if you're a
emotions.
wild man if you take it.
So many emotions going to that game. I believe it's 11 of the last 12 games have been decided by one score.
Mhm.
The only one that wasn't was well, it's two. Sorry, it's 10 out of the last 12. The only two that weren't was the Big 12 championship game. OU beat Texas by 12. And then 2 years ago, Texas won 49-0. And I've been telling people, I said, the last time Quinn Ewers took 3 weeks off before the OU game, Texas won 49-0. So maybe
Might be something to
part of
it.
me thinks when he got hurt against UTSA, Texas had Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State, both teams not good, and then a bye. Sark might have just said, hey, Quinn, here's the OU game plan. Study it, watch nothing but OU, and don't worry about coming back until the OU game. Just get ready for OU. And he's going to want to rebound from last year. He had 3 turnovers that were very costly. He had 2 interceptions in the first quarter. He also had a fumble. I mean, the difference in the game was 3 turnovers by Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel running for over 100 yards, and
Yeah.
then the goal line stand where Texas had first and goal from the 1 and did not score. OU stopped them all 4 times. I mean, those are the 3 things that stand out to me about last year's game. Texas is way better in the red zone this year. I think they're third in the country in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So that's been a point of emphasis. When I look at this game, of the 4 main units, offense and defense for each team, 3 of them I think are elite. Texas on offense, Texas on defense. Texas defense only giving up 7 points a game. And Oklahoma on defense. Those 3 units are elite. One unit that just is subpar compared to the others is the Oklahoma offense. And a lot of factors. Their offensive line is just not very good. They're having a lot of injury problems at the receiver position. And their quarterback play hasn't been very good. Jackson Arnold wasn't good. Hawkins has been better. Started the Auburn game and won that game and scored 2 touchdowns late against Tennessee. I think that's got to be their recipe: is make it easy for Hawkins, give him a very friendly game plan, and he's going to have to use his legs. Texas hasn't been tested very heavily this year with the quarterback run game, and OU tore him up with it. So I expect Oklahoma to have a quarterback run heavy offense, litter maybe some RPOs, and just make it easy on Hawkins. And you're probably going to have to test Texas deep because I think they're going to put an extra guy in the box, knowing you're going to try to run the quarterback a lot.
Yeah, and that's how you take. I think you're right. If I'm Oklahoma and Venables, I'm going, guys. All this talk about this Texas offense. We know how good the offense is. We know how good the defense is. We got to pick one. So I am going to attack the defense, just like you said. I'm going to find a way to keep Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, whoever it is, that Texas offense. I'm going to try to find a way to keep them on the sidelines. That was part of the big reason Arkansas wins against Tennessee is we kept Nico and that offense, Vols offense on the sideline for most of the game. And if I'm OU, that to me, you got to pick one. Like I said, there's no way you win all 3 phases. So you got to pick one. What do you think will help you the most? Well, I think if you get Texas's offense on the sideline, with them kind of anxious, wanting to get out there, OU's moving the ball, converting on 3rd downs, long sustained drives, putting up points, puts pressure on any offense, but especially one that's explosive as Texas. Now all of a sudden, Sark and the offense, they're coming out and they're doing stuff, maybe a little sooner in the playbook than they wanted to, gambling, going deep. Before you know it, you're 3 and out. We're punting. So I think if I'm Oklahoma, that's my recipe.
Yep.
Is if I see Texas's offense on the field, uh, the majority of the game. This is where that two touchdown spread could I can
Could
see
be.
easily get covered.
And you got to think Oklahoma's going to want to shorten the game. They do not want to be in a shootout. If it gets to where it's a shootout, I don't think Oklahoma's offense can keep up. I think to score a lot of points, Oklahoma's really going to need points from their defense or special teams, or at least set their offense up in short field. And I mean that's going to be their recipe. Oklahoma wants to play this game in the low 20s, keep it in the
Mm-hmm.
20s. And they've been burned a few times. Tennessee hit them over the top with a big one. Auburn hit them over the top with a big one early. But that Oklahoma defense is real good. I mean, they're really good up front. Texas offensive line, from what I've seen, I think their offensive line is the best in the country. But they haven't shown that ability to really just dominate in the run game. And we'll see if that's something they do this week. I expect Texas to put a lot on Quinn Ewers' shoulders. Hey, this is going to be your last time playing this game. Make
Mm-hmm.
up for last year. I don't know if they're going to try to do that run game stuff. And that could be a factor late. They got a one possession lead and they're trying to run some clock. Can they run the ball and milk the clock on Oklahoma? Oklahoma's got a really good front. They might have the best linebacker in the country in Danny Stutzman. So that's a big matchup. Their safeties are good. I don't know how good the corners are for
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma, and that's might be where Texas tries to hit some over the top. And Texas secondary is much improved from last year. They haven't been tested by a big passing game though, and I don't think Oklahoma has the health at receiver or the quarterback play to really test them either. So a lot of matchups to watch this Saturday. It's going to be a great game. It always is. The special teams is always off the charts. There's always a block punt or a punt return or a big play on special team kickoff return. Just the emotions of this game fuel the first half. It's just all played on emotion, and that's why in my opinion, it's the best game in all of college football. Split 50-50, the tunnel, and the state
Mm-hmm.
fair. I just think it's great. So super excited for that one. And the next one, number 2, Ohio State at number 3, Oregon. Oregon struggled at times. Ohio State beat the brakes off just about everybody. Haven't played anybody, but
Yeah.
first road game from Ohio State. You got to go up to Oregon. Both teams undefeated. This should be a great one.
Yeah, and like you said, Iowa, Ohio State does a great job of blowing out Iowa, and that
Yep.
defense, um, like you said, road game. Oregon's out to prove that they belong. They haven't looked as impressive as everyone thought they were going to. Uh, but like you said, Dylan Gabriel last year at OU wins big game with his feet. I think there's going to have to be a lot of that in this Ohio State Oregon game because you're going to have to keep Ohio State on the field and really kind of wear them down. I think Ohio State will try to get in a shootout with you, and they'll also, two-headed monster there at running back. But I think Oregon's going to have to be explosive on offense to be able to keep this game within reach. Otherwise, Ohio State's defense,
Yep.
they can really take advantage of what you do poorly and shut you down before long. You can look up and it's a 2-3 score lead and no coming back.
Interesting. The total for Oregon Ohio State is only 53.5. I think that's rather low, if you ask me. Seems a little low for a high profile game. I know both defenses are pretty good, especially Ohio State's. But I just see this with the weapons on offense on both sides. I can see a lot of points being scored in that one. The other one, number 9, Ole Miss at number 13, LSU. Ole Miss, the interesting one about this is LSU's off a bye. Ole Miss hasn't even had a bye yet.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, or excuse me, Ole Miss is off back to back. This is gonna be their second road game, so back to back road games for Ole Miss. They whipped up on South Carolina last week. LSU off a bye could be a tricky spot here. Ole Miss favored by 3.5 on the road. What do you think, Ole Miss and LSU?
I'm telling you this, anytime LSU is, I'll go ahead and give away one of my picks. Anytime LSU is a dog at home, it's safe. Bet them. Coming off
Yep.
the bye. Ole Miss has got problems on offense, man. South Carolina is just not good. Man, Ole Miss went from one of the best offenses in the country, the dark horse national championship contender, to losing, and offense just hasn't recovered. And you've got, like you said, the Bayou Bengals coming off a bye. They're going to be well rested. Brian Kelly's still a good coach. So yeah, that one's wild to me that Ole Miss is favored on the road against LSU.
I agree. I agree. And I'm right there with you on the LSU pick. I was saving it for coffee with Creta, but just a little heads up. I'm gonna see where that line goes, but I kind of like LSU there as well. Transition to the NFL. Dallas Cowboys pulled out a huge come from behind win, had to have it over the Steelers Sunday Night Football. It was after midnight time that game finished, but the Cowboys got it done. Say what you want about Dak, he single-handedly kept the Steelers in the game with the turnovers, 2 picks and a fumble, but came up clutch last drive, got it done on 4th and goal.
Dude, Tolbert. I
Huge.
mean, I think the guy's phenomenal. He played as well as you could ask him to play. Tomlin, of course, did a great job kind of keeping CD in check, taking him out of the game. Rico Dowdle, fantastic job running the football. Thought the offensive line did good. I think we've got I know he's a rookie, but Tyler Guyton has got some work to
Yeah,
do.
not his best game.
I've watched the last couple games where he's really struggled. He's so big. Guy's 6'7", 6'8", long. He leans forward and he gets over and gets his head down. And I don't know who 51 is on the Steelers. Didn't know him before the game. Don't know him now. He got hurt, but he was
Yep.
putting Tyler Guyton in a blender, and he was good enough. All these guys at this level are good enough. Offensive tackle's got his head down. They're just going right around you. They're going to make a move, and there's nothing you can do about it. We saw Tyler Smith get kicked out there. We're reminded of how good Tyler Smith really is. Shut him down. It wasn't anywhere to go, nothing he could do. And then on the right side, hats off to the steel trap. Uh, doing a all in all, of course, he gets his 100th sack and
Yeah.
forces that fumble. But when we needed him to come up big, Terrence Steele, the steel trap, did just good enough to keep TJ Watt kind of off Dak there when we needed at the end. And I thought, golly, here we go. TJ Watt, he's had a great game. We're going to have to drive down and score, do something. And Steele did a good job locking him up. So I was happy. Like you said, big win. Shouldn't have been as close, in my opinion, either, because we had the block field goal, 2 interceptions, and the fumble. But thankfully, they have quarterback issues on their side with Justin Fields, and you know, again, remember what was it last year against the Bears? He throws that pick, and instead of touching Micah Parsons, he just
Yes.
jumps over him, and Micah gets up and goes, "Oh, well, I'm just going to take this back to the house then. Thank you." So, yeah, great. Like needed it. Did not need to lose that game if you're the
No.
Dallas Cowboys, and we
No.
didn't.
Now they come back to Dallas. Of course, they haven't won at AT&T Stadium this year. They host the Lions. Lions favored by 3 in that one. A little bit of a revenge game for the Lions after last year's game, how it ended. Dan Skipper not reporting. Of course, they say he reported. Anyway,
I don't think so.
so Cowboys win. Well, maybe a revenge factor for the Lions. Cowboys trying to win their first game at home. So Cowboys got to find a way. They're 3-2, a game back of the Commanders. Commanders still on fire. Get a huge win last week. Commanders 4-1. Cowboys 3-2. Eagles still trying to find themselves. Eagles 2-2 this year.
Good.
Who the Eagles got this week? They were ahead of bye. Oh, they host the Browns. They're favored by 10. Eagles will probably get it done. So yeah, Commanders on the road with the Ravens. It's a big game for the Cowboys. Need to try to
You're
find a
gonna find out Jaden Daniels. You know how good he's been so far. You're about to go up against an elite team in the Baltimore Ravens. This is one of those momentum busters. Either I think if it's even a close loss, I still think the Commanders are still trajecting up and that momentum that they can take something out of it. If they get blown out, I think you go, oh, okay, guys, it was just a little rookie magic. We're gonna find out a lot. I'm actually really interested to watch that game.
Yep.
And to see just how good Daniels is against Baltimore's defense. See how good that offensive line. See if they can protect long enough to give the young quarterback time to be dynamic with his legs and to make the right throws and get out of trouble. So we'll see. I'm excited. It's a good weekend of football.
It's gonna be a great weekend of football. Let's get to our last segment, our picks. And your boy was hot last week, 9-1 on my Gridiron Grind picks.
Love it.
I was off to a terrible start, so now I'm back to 50%. I'm 21-21 on the season. Jimmy, 5-5 last week, still in the money, plus 51%. So now we go. We're back. We're back to even after a bad start. Had a great week last week. Let's keep it rolling. And I'm coming back with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 picks. I got 5 college, 4 NFL.
I love it. I got 6 college, 5 NFL.
All right. All right. Well, we'll let you get it started. Start with our college bets.
All right. South Carolina, Bama. South Carolina, Bama over 50. Alabama coming off that emotional loss to Vanderbilt. Alabama has shown they will let a team hang around. They're going to have, I think, DeBoer, they're going to have a lot of frustration to take out. We know Alabama, we saw what their offense can do. They jumped all over Georgia. They still scored in the 30s against Vanderbilt. So I think if South Carolina gets on the board at all, I think there's a good shot that this hits. So give me over 50, South Carolina and Alabama.
Little tip for the Gamecocks: run the option. Alabama struggled with the option against Vanderbilt. Run some option, maybe get on the board. Yeah, I think if you can get some points with South Carolina, you'll hit that. My first one, I'm going with the Iowa Hawkeyes hosting Washington. This one doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Iowa gets blown out against Ohio State. Washington upsets Michigan. Yet Iowa's favored. Iowa's favored by 2.5. If it doesn't make sense, I'll go ahead and take it. Give me the Iowa Hawkeyes minus 2.5 hosting the Washington Huskies. And there's a stat that I heard this week that a Big Ten team, when they travel 2 time zones, they're 1-7. And Washington is having to travel from the Pacific to the Central. It's 2 time zones. So give me the Iowa Hawkeyes minus 2.5.
I like it. I like it. My next one is the Red River Shootout, Texas and Oklahoma. Give me over 50. I think Sark and the offense, Longhorns offense, they're going to get in the 20s, 30s easy. I think OU's saving some stuff. Going to turn Hawkins loose. They're going to have to.
Yep.
OU's going to have to score to stay in this game. Both elite defenses, yes, but I think Texas's offense is greater than OU's defense as far as their ability to basically take the game over. So give me over 50. I think this might be close, and then it kind of break away late, but Texas OU over 50.
I like that bet. If I was making a bet in this game, that's the one I'd go with. Over 50. Like I said, you just need Texas to get to 30, and Oklahoma get to 20.
Yep. And
you're home. Okay, mine is USC hosting Penn State for the same reasons. There's a Big Ten stat, 1-7 when you travel 2 time zones. Penn State hasn't been tested that much. They played West Virginia, and they beat them pretty good. Played UCLA. UCLA's not that good. So Penn State's still undefeated. This is a must-win for USC. They've already got 2 losses, 2 conference losses to Michigan and then Minnesota. USC's got to have this one. They're getting 4.5 at home. So I'll take the USC Trojans plus 4.5 hosting Penn State.
I like it. Florida and Tennessee. Florida plus 15.5. Tennessee's got injury bugs. Florida's going to come out and, Florida and Tennessee hate each other.
Yep.
And Tennessee, I think Tennessee's going to be hung over. Like we said, injury prone. But then, this is one of those, just like we talked about with Nebraska and Raiola, these young quarterbacks. Okay, you lose your first game, I'm sure there's some hate mail and all this stuff because, everybody, for some reason, Nebraska, Tennessee, they're all powerhouses, right? Not supposed to lose. And so I think Tennessee's going to come out firing, but I think Florida's going to be ready. And I think with the injuries going on and the hangover from Fayetteville, I think Florida covers this 15.5.
I like it. I agree with you. I love Florida as well. My next was BYU's hosting Arizona. BYU's undefeated. Arizona, they already upset Utah, but BYU's a different animal at home. I like the Cougars at home hosting the Arizona Wildcats. Give me BYU minus 4 over Arizona.
I have that same bet for the exact same reasons. So yeah, mark me down as that too. BYU minus 4. My next one, Vanderbilt and Kentucky over 44. Vanderbilt played the game of their lives last week, beating Alabama and upsetting them. I think they keep this momentum rolling. I think the coach is good enough. He kind of corrals them, and gets them to go, hey, guys, we got to keep playing like this. Let's surprise. Kentucky, great defense. We know what they can do. We know they played Georgia close. I think Vanderbilt might be for real in the sense of they're not
Yeah.
your typical Vanderbilt anymore, kind of how Baylor in the Big 12, you got to come ready to play. And I think the offense is good enough that this over hits. So give me Vanderbilt, Kentucky over 44.
I agree. I mean, 44 is not a lot for a college football game.
Mm-mm.
Okay. My next one. Now I'm kind of going against the stats I've been given. I've been talking about Big Ten teams traveling 2 time
Yep.
zones. Well, now I'm going to go against that. Okay. Ohio State, I think, is just better than Oregon. They've shown me that they're better. It's only 3. I'm going to say a close game. I'm going to go against the trend, a Big Ten school traveling 2 time zones, because I think Ohio State is just better than Oregon. Ohio State -3 on the road at Oregon. I like the Buckeyes, so give me Ohio State -3.
I like it. I like it. We had this is my live ad. I added this one. LSU Ole Miss, LSU plus 3.5. I like that one. I liked it. I was on the
Yes, I
edge.
love it.
Heard you talk about it. We start talking about it on the show. Live ad right now. LSU plus 3.5 at home.
Yep.
It's Ole Miss is broken, and LSU they're not getting it fixed on the road in Baton Rouge. So
No.
LSU plus 3.5.
I mean, they hadn't had a bye. It's like their 7th straight week
Yeah.
playing football. LSU coming off a bye. I
Yeah.
agree. I'm right there with you. I got a bet in the same game. I'm going to go over 61. Ole Miss, LSU. LSU's defense isn't good. Ole Miss, they can score a lot of points, and that defense isn't good. But I think LSU finds a way to win this game. They're getting the 3.5, which I love. But I'm going to take the over 61. I think both teams get in the 30s. Give me Ole Miss, LSU over 61.
I like it.
All right, NFL games. I got 4 NFL.
I got 5.
All right, we'll let you go.
I'll kick it off. Thursday night, 49ers and Seahawks. Give me under 49.5.
Love that.
49ers defense. I think they're going to come ready to play. Short week for everybody. Give me the under 49.5.
Okay, I got Sunday morning London game. Not a lot of points get scored over there in London. So I'm going to take it's the Jaguars and Bears under 45. Jaguars Bears in London under 45.
I like it. Lions Cowboys. Oh, excuse me, I miscounted. I only have 4.
Oh, okay.
4. So next one, Lions Cowboys under 53. Give me under 53. I know it was wet and slippery, but the offense, Brandon Cooks is going to be out. Lions defense is a lot better than Pittsburgh's, and I just think the under. I don't think a lot of points going to be scored. Plus, it's that rule NFL. We're going over 50. Give me the under.
I got a bet in this game. I'm going to take the Lions -3. I think the Cowboys are playing with fire. I think the Lions have a little revenge factor from last year's game in Dallas. I think the Lions are just the better football team right now. So I'll take the Lions -3 against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys hadn't won at home yet this year.
Right.
Even more reason I like the Lions -3.
I like it. Commanders and Ravens. Here's another one under 51.5. We're going to find out. I tell you what, in my opinion, the only way this hits over is if Jaden Daniels is the real deal. If he's able to get slinging, start picking apart the Ravens defense, I think this goes over, but I don't think that happens. I think this is a close game. I think both teams want to run the football. Commanders with the quarterback and, Austin Eckler, Robinson, Ravens, we know about King Henry. So give me the under 51.5, Commanders, Ravens.
I got a bet in this game as well. I'm going to take the Commanders +7. That's too many points, I think. Some books have it 7, 6.5. You can get it to 7. I like it. Commanders +7. I think Jaden Daniels is for real. I think the Ravens playing a lot of close games. Beat the Cowboys by 3. Barely beat the Bengals in overtime. Ravens play close games. I think this will be a close game. Ravens probably win, but I think the Commanders keep it within a touchdown. So give me Commanders +7.
I like it. My last one, Bucks and Saints over 41. That's not a lot of points for both these offenses. It's in a dome. The Bucks and looking pretty good. Saints, I think, are going to get things back on track. So 41's just not enough.
Agree. That 41's a low number. My last one, I'm going to take another under. Colts, Titans, under 44. Both these teams stink. Titans, how are they going to score enough? I think Colts, Titans stay under 44. Feel good about that one.
Like
All right. Do the rundown. Rundown of our bets. We'll start with Jimmy's. Jimmy's got South Carolina, Alabama over 50. He's got Texas OU over 50. Florida plus 15.5. BYU minus 4. Vandy, Kentucky over 44. LSU plus 3.5. In the NFL, he's got 49ers, Seahawks under 49.5. Lions, Cowboys under 53. Commanders, Ravens under 51.5. And Bucks, Saints over 41. Creta 3 myself, I got Iowa minus 2.5. USC plus 4.5. BYU minus 4. Ohio State minus 3. Ole Miss, LSU over 61. Jags, Bears under 45. Colts, Titans under 44. Commanders plus 7. Lions minus 3. We were combined 14-6 last week. See if we can do it again. Stay hot.
Sounds like winners to me.
Sounds like a bunch of winners to me. Like, comment, subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Drop a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel to get all the Gridiron Grind podcast content. Jimmy, final thoughts.
Yeah, I got something. Didn't get a chance to bring it up during the college football segment. Army, Navy, both 5-0.
Heck yeah.
Undefeated. Okay. Here's this scenario. You know, they still have Notre Dame on their schedule.
Yep.
Notre Dame doesn't look good. Both of these teams, let's say both of these teams win out. Okay. They would play each other in the AAC championship game.
Yes, that'd be cool.
Then turn around the next week and play each other in the Army Navy game.
That'd be cool.
How about that? That's going to be interesting. Of course, you know, it doesn't get as, it's not as kind of interesting and sexy and stuff if they both, you know, slip up. One of them slips up or both of them do between now and then. But just a little something to kind of a storyline that kind of going under the radar right now is both teams undefeated with the potential, because, you know, it's the only game that Saturday is always Army Navy. That's one of the things that makes it so special. How about both teams being undefeated, playing in the conference championship game, and then a week later going, hey, remember me? Yeah, we're back. And then heaven forbid, both of the, you know, they split that, you know, if that scenario plays out.
Yeah.
So that's something pretty interesting to follow along. I thought that was pretty cool that they're both undefeated for the first time in several decades. And then the possibility of them playing each other in the conference championship game and then the next week playing.
And the only team that could really upset that is Memphis, and Navy's already beat Memphis. I think Memphis is the third best team in that conference. So that would be something crazy if they played back-to-back weeks. I'd be all for it. I love the
Army. How about it? That'd be awesome.
I've made a lot of money with Army this year. They've Navy too. I mean, they're both looking great. So it's Red River Week. Thanks for joining the show. Like, comment, subscribe. Check us out, Gridiron Grind Podcast. For Jimmy G, I'm Creta 3. Welcome Horns. We'll see you next week. See you.